Welcome back. Ready to go on another adventure with me? This time let's go to Eastern Europe and let's go to Romania just at the time of the fall of a communist dictator. I got there just a few days after he had fallen and the country was pretty much in turmoil. And the food was scarce and everything was in upheaval. And the pastor that I went to be with, there's no hotels, and so he asked me would I stay with a local family. I said, sure, I'll stay with the family. And so he says, the only problem is they don't speak English. And I said, well, I don't speak any Romanian, so this ought to be interesting. So I go, I sleep, I wake up the next morning, and the host comes to me. And he's looking at me, I'm sitting at the table, and he's making signs like for food. I said, yeah. And he says, drink? I said, well, water, anything? And he says, Coke? And I went, Coke? Yeah, Coke. And he says, ah. And so he wants me to follow him. Okay, so we go downstairs, we get into his car, and we drive. We drive about 2 blocks, and we see the store there, obvious store, and there's people lined up in front of the store, maybe 100 people lined up, and I'm going to wonder what's going on here. But we go around to the back of the store, and we come up to the door, and we knock, tut, 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 and a guy opens the door, and he's looking out, and he sees us, and we realize, oh, okay, something's going on here. And so he opens the door, and we go in, and he signals for me to come in. We stand in the back of the store, and the guy in the store says, Coke? Coke? And I said, yeah, Coke, sure. And he says, how many? How many? And I went, just one? And my host brushes me out of the window. And he says something in Romanian, and he points out many. And okay, so he goes into this little room and he comes out with a case of Coke, and the owner says, Coke? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay, so pay me. I went, okay. So I pull out some money and I pay him, and everybody's happy. Okay, and so now we're going back out to the car, and as he opens the door, he gives me the sign, just wait a minute. He goes out, opens the trunk of his car, looks all around, and comes back, grabs the case of Coke, throws it into the trunk, and puts a blanket over it and shuts the lid. And he says, come on, now, I'm starting to get the idea here now that this is black market Coke, and they're offering me this black market Coke. So we drive home and reverse the process of covering the Coke with a blanket and carrying it upstairs real quick. And finally, I'm sitting at the table, and he brings out the bottle of Coke there, and he brings a bowl of fresh cut tomatoes in a watery solution with cucumbers. I'm looking at cucumbers, fresh cut tomatoes, and the Coke. I can't stand tomatoes. I can't stand cucumbers. And I really don't like Coke, but I realize all the effort we put in to get this black market Coke, and the host was just so happy. So I went ahead and drank the Coke. Didn't eat the tomatoes, but I did drink the Coke. So God's allowed me to go on a lot of amazing adventures, and I'm going to be telling you more this week, so I hope you tune in. If you want to ask a question or leave a comment, feel free to do that. Be glad to answer it.